So I went on a road trip and that shit cooked my hair and my voice. But anyways, today we are gonna talk about good boys. So what is a good boy? Basically, a good boy in my terms is someone that listens to their parents or their teachers all the time. This means that they have no freedom of their own and they just listen to whatever their parents or teachers tell them to do. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing always, but in life, if you want to grow and live a fulfilling life, you should obviously listen to your own decisions instead of someone else making them for you. And especially if it's someone like your parents or your teachers, because although they are older and they have more experience or whatever, but the generation gap is quite evident in some of the decisions that they might take. And after a certain age, after you gain your own consciousness and stuff, after you start thinking about yourself and start feeling like you should do some things and explore the world a bit more, that's when this generational gap becomes quite evident, because this is exactly when they'll tell you to stop exploring and stop doing things and just stay in their limits or their boundaries or the box that they put you into. Like, for example, my cocked, chopped, busted ass hair right now. I grew them out back in 2024. And the first time I actually grew them out, I was not at my home for 2 months, so they just grew out. And when I came back, the backlash from my family was insane. On the first meetup itself with my family after I returned after 2 months, they were just cooking me, man. They were saying shit like, I look gay, I look like a girl, I should cut them, I'm chopped, whatever. It didn't really affect me back then, because I knew that if you are a bit older in age, you might not prefer longer hair or men, but people our age usually, I mean, there's a lot of people who have long hair right now, a lot of men who have long hair right now. So it didn't really bother me back then, and it wasn't too deep either. They were just saying stuff, they weren't doing anything particularly. But then, as time went on, everyone started to force me to cut them short. And of course, cutting your hair short or keeping them long isn't really a big deal. But this is just an example of how listening to your parents might take a toll on you. So as they told me to cut these hair short, I still didn't listen to them, because I was getting a lot of compliments on them, and it was pretty much the first time in my life that I was getting compliments, because I was stopped till like 2024, 2025. So because my first compliments came from growing these hair out, I didn't want to cut them. They became a part of me. But in Feb of 2025, I was at a barber shop just keeping them short, not too short, but cutting a few inches off. So I did that, and as I called my mother, because I wanted to pay for the haircut, of course. So I called my mother to make the payment, and she said that I should video call her and show her how short my hair are. I video called her, and she wasn't satisfied with whatever length I kept them, because she wanted them shorter. But I of course didn't budge. I didn't wanna cut my hair short. So we had an argument over the phone for like 30 minutes. And then my father pulls up to the barber shop, like not even on a call, not even like he called me or something. He just pulls up to the barber shop and he starts arguing with me, tells me to cut my hair short or else they won't pay for the haircut. And of course, if they're not paying, I can't leave the fucking barber shop. I'm not some sleazy ass guy who's not gonna pay and just take the service. So that was a pretty big scene back then. I still think it is right now. But after a lot of forcing, after a lot of arguments on that day, they finally promised me that they'll give me a few things like freedom, privacy, whatever, if I cut my hair short. And I fall for that trap. It is a trap because I, of course, didn't get those things after I cut my hair short. So after a long time of keeping them long, I was back to a fucking buzz cut. Not even really a buzz cut, it was just some random even length all along, but it's really short. I'll probably pull up a pic right now. So I had that cut and my confidence tanked down, man. This destroyed my confidence because I felt truly chopped after a long time. There were a great few months with these long hair, but the time was over. Tick tock on the fucking clock, buddy. My hair was short right now. I mean, at this moment of time, they were short. And listening to my parents, of course, didn't make my life any better. Were they happier? Yes, they were happier. But that's the point. I wasn't personally happy. It was them who was happy. And who's gonna live my life? Of course, that's me. So I took the mental toll of feeling ugly after a long time, and it was a pretty sad time. Of course, my hair grew out, but to get to this similar length, it took like 6, 7 months. But after that one haircut, something switched inside me. Not in a corny movie serial way, but I realized that listening to them isn't really making my life any better because the generation gap was evident. They were saying stuff like no man should keep their hair long because it's a feminine trait, but we know that it's not. Ancient Indians kept their hair long. I mean, many ancient civilization men kept their hair long, and you can't really say that those warriors were feminine. So it's not really a feminine trait if you think about it. It's just a limiting belief that a lot of adults have, unfortunately. But after that moment, I didn't listen to them in terms of my hair and in a lot of things. So I grew my hair out. There were a lot of arguments, of course, again, but I didn't budge this time. I was like, if you're not gonna pay for it, I'll borrow some money from my friends or I'll take cash from you directly instead of depending on you paying them online because I don't want the entire video call thing seen again. So this was the first time I rebelled on them on a pretty huge scale. And it was regarding my hair because this was the only thing back then keeping my self-esteem up. So I fought for these hair, man. I worked hard for this. I worked hard for this. And that's just an example in terms of how I looked. My hairs, of course, affect my looks a lot if I keep them back. You can see right now, I don't think I look better when they are short or back. So I just keep them this way because I'm literally an emo goth. And as ST Kid said, long black hair like an emo, drugs all white albino. As I was saying, my hair was just an example in terms of how listening to their decisions would have affected my looks. Looks are, of course, a huge part of your life, but they aren't everything. So, here's another example where this affected something that's not my looks, but it would have affected my future in a huge way. So, back in 10th grade, that's around 3 years ago, damn, it's been long, right? So, around 10th grade, I was in my school's cricket team, right? I used to wake up at 5 in the morning to play cricket at my school. If you don't know what cricket is, kill yourself. My parents were like, because you have your 10th finals in a few months, and the few months were 6 months by the way. So they told me to quit the cricket team, they told me to drop cricket. In fact, they contacted all of my teachers. My tuition teacher back in, what is it? Near my area, who actually lives in my society. They contacted my online tutor, my online solo tutor, and they were like 5, 6 adults who were trying to tell me to quit cricket. Not because, I didn't join cricket because it was some lifelong dream or something. I wanted to be a cricket player back when I was a kid, but not in 10th grade. I just wanted to do it because I had friends there. There was a camaraderie we had within the team, and of course, because I've played this sport for like 12 years at that point, I didn't want to just drop it randomly in 10th grade. I wanted to play because it's still fun for me, right? So, all of these adults were surrounding me. They were telling me to quit cricket and not play and just focus on my studies instead. Their alternative was wake up at 5 a.m. and instead of playing cricket, you can just read a book which is not a bad thing, but I wasn't gonna quit cricket. So this went on for quite a few weeks, but I didn't budge in this regard because I'm so Sigma. And after a few weeks of this, the tournament, the inter-school tournament, it was a pretty big deal for the entire school back then came around, and I was in the team, so I had a pretty good excuse to not quit it at that point, and I didn't. I played the tournament and I played quite well, I shall say. I was actually the second or the third highest wicket taker of my team. I'm pretty sure I was the second, and it was a really memorable time. Me and my friends still talk about those days and that tournament. You still see those reels of the aura of the sports player in school who leaves the class without permission or whatever. The aura sports player thing. Me and my friends still like those deals because we are so Sigma. That was another decision that I don't regret taking myself. I didn't listen to my parents, I didn't listen to my teachers who were telling me to quit. And it was one of the best decisions of my life without any doubt. Because the cricket team was where I found camaraderie the first time, true brotherhood. I used to see those things back in video games when I was in 8th grade. I used to play video games for like 8 hours a day, which isn't a good thing. But I don't blame that version of myself for playing video games for that long because I didn't have any means of socializing. I was pretty terrible socially. I didn't have true brotherhood. I didn't have close friends. I had friends, but none of them were really close. One of them was, he's still by my side. He's still a pretty close friend. So video games were my only escape of the dark reality that I had to live outside the video games world. And cricket was one of the things that helped me quit those video games and skyrocketed my social skills and my self-confidence because when the entire school is glazing your team saying that did you win, and when you say yeah I won, everyone's like cheering you on. It's a huge boost to your self-esteem and your social life. It just does something to your confidence, man. So of course this is another incident where I didn't listen to my parents, and it was a huge step up in my life, a huge upgrade in my life. And I'm really glad that I didn't listen to my parents those 2 times, even though they forced me a lot, even though there were a lot of arguments. And I'm not gonna lie to you and say that rebelling against them is gonna be something easy. Of course, it will affect your bond between them. If they are a certain type of parent, my parents, if they are a bit understanding, it will work out and your life is gonna be very, very good if you listen to yourself, do whatever you feel like doing. And you know what the crazy thing is? I still know a lot of people who just blindly believe whatever parents or teachers tell them. And what I mean by blindly is they just listen to everything, even the smallest micromanagements. I literally know someone in my society who's like, my mom won't let me date these kinds of guys. My parents want a certain height. My parents want a certain percentage in the guy. And I'm like, where's your soul, man? Why can't you just make your own decision in your life partner? Your parents won't be here forever, but your life partner probably will. And it should totally be your decision. And it's not just about life partners, right? It's about what you wanna pursue in the future. Your job or your purpose is gonna be there with you for your entire life. But the temporary happiness that your parents get when you just blindly listen to them is not gonna be permanent. It's gonna fade away in like in a year or two, because the novelty wears off eventually. They'll feel like they listen to me this moment and they'll treat you better for a few years, a few months at most. But then the moment the novelty wears off, the moment they realize that this is just normal life right now, they're gonna forget about it. They're not gonna realize that you took this step for them. But you know who won't forget that you took this step for them? It's gonna be you, man. You'll stay with your decisions for the rest of your life. and there's gonna be regrets. And I'm saying this because I was, of course, in this position, right? I did stuff for my parents, and I regret doing a lot of those things blindly without thinking about it because I thought that they are just some wise gods or something, but they aren't. They don't know everything, and you don't either. But if you're living your life, if you're exploring life on your own terms, you can't really regret it because there's going to be lessons when you listen to your heart, but there aren't going to be lessons when you listen to someone else. It's just going to be regrets. And it's because how's there going to be a lesson if someone in their mind has made some assumptions that, this might be the future for my son if he does this, but they don't explain it to you that if you do this, this is going to happen, and it doesn't click in your mind. How is there going to be any lesson if stuff is not in your mind, right? So there's only going to be regrets if you blindly follow stuff. And you can't even be like, I'm gonna listen everything my parents tell me and then complain about life really, because if you're not taking decisions, you can't complain about your life. That is just how it goes. You need to take your own decisions, and that's when you get to say that I'm proud of my decisions, I'm proud of my life. Or even if life is shit, at least I'm taking my own decisions, or else shit's not gonna be good. Because I know a few people who listen to everything without any second thought, or maybe they'll level a bit, but in the end they'll just follow whatever the adults around them say, and then they'll complain about their lives. They'll say that, my parents made me cut my hair short, now I'm not looking good, now my self-confidence is down, and they'll say that I promise I'll rebel against them the next time, but the next time never comes, and the next time around they're again complaining that they did this thing, I hate them, I resent them, and this is just gonna build up resentments against them and making your life worse at the same time. So it's a lose-lose for both teams. It's gonna be a temporary high for the adults around you, but shit fades away, as I said. And it isn't really the fault of these teenagers or these kids who are blindly listening to their parents either, because since we were children, we were brainwashed to believe that the adults around us know everything and that nothing can be wrong, so we should just blindly follow them. But at one point, the generation gap becomes quite evident. An example that you can look at directly can be your fashion sense, most probably. I hope you take care of your fashion sense and all, because fashion sense is pretty life changing, right? Having a good fashion sense, it's self-expression. So I don't think most adults get this, that fashion is self-expression, and they'll say stuff to me. I'll take my own example, right? Because why not? So I wear multiple rings on one finger. I don't have them right now, but I wear multiple rings on my finger, and I like to wear a lot of jewelry. So in my family, they believe that wearing jewelry is a feminine trait, which it isn't, because again, the example of ancient kings, you can imagine those ancient masculine kings wearing a lot of gold on their neck to show power. Or even in a modern example, the 1970s punk people, they don't get that this is self-expression, and I just agree with them in front of the face and do whatever I want to do behind the back. I have an entire box of jewelry which I hide from them because I don't want them to find out that I'm wearing this shit. So I just keep it in my pocket, and when I'm outside the house, I wear it, and I'm just rocking this. And that is just the surface level of an example where the generation gap shows. You can, of course, see this in life advice in general when they say stuff like, you should not talk to strangers because strangers are gonna kidnap you. That was back when you were a child. But the mindset never really went away, and you didn't speak to strangers at all. And now, you can't even talk to some random person in your gym. You're too scared to talk to a random guy walking down the street, right? There's no imminent threat that this random person walking down the street poses to you, they're not gonna kidnap you or anything. You're still scared because the mindset stick around, and you don't have basic conversational skills right now because you listen to that advice of never talking to people, just staying within your own people, just the people they approve of, their family, friends, your cousins, your parents, your siblings. These are the only people you can really talk to because you never really learn to talk to other people freely without fearing their judgment, without thinking that what if they disapprove of this person, or you might like a person yourself, you might like their values, their charisma, whatever, but you think that your parents won't approve of this. They tell us to stop going down and playing as kids because it's gonna take time away from studying or some bullshit. Even though it really doesn't, because your mind is gonna wander around if you don't have fun. You just think about having fun instead of having productive time. And now, because you didn't go down as a kid, what? That sounded wrong. Because you didn't play down as a kid, you're unfit. You're not used to playing, you're not used to exercising. You get tired if you run for like even 1 kilometer, 500 meters. You'll get tired, you'll be exhausted. And I was like this for a long time in 7th grade until I started going to the gym and working out. And now I'm a big guy. And this will help you just get basic conversational skills and your fitness, which is of course a necessity if you want to live life happily. Another thing that you'll need to live life happily is of course your life partner, your relationships romantically. And even those get stunted if you just blindly listen to your adults, because they're probably gonna say shit like, don't talk to the opposite gender until you're aged 25 or some bullshit or some big age. And that's what my parents tell me, you don't talk to girls unless you're 21 years old, established with a job and whatever. I'm not gonna listen to them, and I'm gonna be a player. Shut the fuck up! They tell us to not talk to the opposite gender, and now you're even scared to talk to the damn waitress in a restaurant. Or you're scared to even look at the opposite gender in the eyes. All you can do is just fantasize about talking to them or having a bond with them, but you don't have the basic skills to talk to them without treating them like they are some alien species. And I used to be this way back when I was around 9th grade. I treated women at such a high pedestal that I even remember the first female interaction that I had after lockdown. That was how deprived I was, that I remembered the first interaction itself. And I still remember it. It was like some girl asking me for a balloon at some event, which is of course it shouldn't be a huge deal, but it was for me because I didn't have any female interaction for a long time. And because people listen to this advice, they don't talk to the girls or the boys, if you're a girl, around them. They start fearing the opposite gender too much, and now the only opposite gender you talk to is your parents or your siblings, which is a sad reality because you're cutting off 50% of the entire human population of your life. That's so many life experiences, that's so many perspectives that you could have gained, so many bonds that you could have made, a lot of fun memories that you could have had, but you don't have them because you limited yourself. You put yourself in a box that the parents, the teachers, the adults wanted to place you inside. So what's the solution for all of this? If it isn't obvious, it is to listen to yourself. Of course, don't make irrational and stupid decisions. Like, there might be a lot of bad decisions that you make, so think a lot of important decisions through, but the micro decisions that you make should totally be on you. Even the huge decisions should be on you, but that is after you put some thought into it. And for that, you'll have to rebel against your controlling parents, your controlling teachers, your controlling adults. And I'm not gonna say that rebelling is easy, especially if you're financially dependent on your parents, which you most probably are if you're in college or something. So this will ruin your bond between your parents and you at a huge scale or a small scale, depending on how your parents are, depending on how you rebel actually. There can be ways to rebel. You can do it respectfully, or you can just not give a fuck about the bond between you and your parents. That's what personally I did, and I don't regret it. My life is in a much better place because I rebelled, and yours will be too, because you can't go wrong with listening to yourself. There can be mistakes, but there's gonna be lessons. Your life will be temporarily hard after rebelling, but once you gain the freedom from your parents, once you are not dependent on them, you'll start realizing how great this advice is, because my life was pretty hard in the past year when I rebelled and I was dependent on them, when I had exams going on and my college applications going on. But right now, I'm not. I have a lot of freedom, I have free time, so the skills that I built up by rebelling, my social skills, my physique, my long, luscious, majestic hair, the benefits of listening to myself are showing up. The social skills that I built up, I'm using them right now because I have total freedom. I'm meeting new friends, I'm talking to strangers and making friends out of those strangers. I'm linking up with old friends. There's so much stuff that I'm able to do right now because I have these social skills built up inside me. Even though I didn't have a social life to use them back when I was rebelling, I have it right now. And the skills aren't going anywhere for the rest of my life unless I become a Discord mod. My skills are still here. And the good life that I'm able to live because of these skills is with me right now. It's so fulfilling because, I'll tell you, I was at a meetup around 3 days ago, and it was a pretty big planned meetup that me and my friends were hyping up. And I just had a random moment of realization that 1 year ago I wouldn't be here. I would have had to fight with my parents for like an hour, and then they would have told me to come back in 30 minutes. I would have received like 20 calls the moment I stepped out of my house, and all of that would have happened just a year ago. But right now, when I have the freedom, I'm able to use my skills freely without having the negative mental bandwagon of my parents stopping me. So that was a pretty sweet moment that I had between the meetup, a sweet moment of realization that listening to myself has got me pretty far. And that was the exact moment that inspired me to make this video. So it's better for your life in the long run if you make your own decisions without waiting for some adult's approval. Because one, it will build your skills up for making decisions, your decision making skills. Two, it will boost your self confidence because you'll feel like I'm my own person now. I can make decisions. And three, you'll build up skills that you wanted to build yourself. No one else forced them on you, and you actually did it because you were interested in building them. And you won't waste time because the feeling of being left behind because you listened to some other person's decision is pretty daunting when you realize that I'm far behind in life, and the person who made their own decisions is so ahead of me, and they're so much more advanced and developed. And it's a very horrible feeling because I can say this because I had it. And at the end of the day, it's your life. When you're gonna be on your deathbed, it will be you who lives with the regrets of not listening to yourself. One of the most common regrets that old people have, and this is according to a lot of surveys, is that they didn't listen to themselves. And these are people on their deathbed. And why can't this be you? This will be you if you don't listen to yourself and just live life on others' terms. So learn to live life on your own and realize that you will be with your regrets for the rest of your life if you don't listen to yourself.